Hello, my dear YouTube family. How are you guys today? I am so pleased to be bringing you this video. You guys remember that a week ago or so, I did an extensive palette video on You Might Be IPW. And some of you will know what that means, some of you won't, but I'll throw it up in a card and that will be the video that I am referring to, and then I'll put it down in the description box too. I had so much fun making that. It was a tag video and it was just absolutely a ton of fun for me to make. So yeah, if you haven't watched that, go watch it because it was kind of silly and kind of crazy. So I really did love doing that video. Okay, but before we get started, if you're new to my channel, welcome. I am so glad that you're here with me. Please hit the subscribe button before you leave and hit that little bell next to it so you can be notified of any future videos that I might be making. I would love it if you would join our YouTube family because we have the best family ever, don't we, ladies? So anyway, so let's get right into this. I'm going to kind of work backwards in order of, you know, number 10 and then up to my number 1 favorite palette. I did try to very carefully pick these because I wanted to make sure that you guys could still get every single one of these if you want to, and I'm pretty sure that you can. So they will all be listed down in the description box. I will make sure that I give you guys links to where you can purchase these yourselves. So there is a really good mix of drugstore and high-end, but there is one luxury palette in here that I'm going to tell you guys about, and that is the Viseart palette right here. And I love these palettes. This one, I cannot remember the name, but I will try to throw it up right here or here somewhere so that you guys can know the name. But it's got this gorgeous amount of all shimmers. This is not a palette that has any mattes, so they are all shimmers, but I am telling you, these are so just buttery and beautiful, and I cannot say enough about how gorgeous Viseart's palettes are and all of their just incredibly beautiful shadows. I know that they are a chunk of money, but when you break it down, it is almost like this one is $45, and when you break it down, if you were to buy Makeup Geek single shadows, it would be $36. So it's a little bit more still. They are fantastically beautiful shadows, and I do love having that palette. Okay, number 9 is the Moonchild palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. Now, a lot of you might be going, oh my gosh, Melissa, that palette is not wearable for me. I'm too old for that. I don't think so. Well, I'm here to tell you that this palette you can wear. This is so versatile. Now, granted, I don't know anybody that's going to go and put blue on a highlight, but that color is just something else. It is so pretty. I'm going to go ahead and swatch these for you, just a few of them, so that you can see how beautiful these shadows are, and the fact that they are super buttery and they have a versatility that I absolutely love. And I wear these on my lid as, you know, just the shimmer color to brighten up my lid. I also wear these in the inner corner at times, and sometimes, you know, obviously I use these two colors a lot, which is Pink Heart and Blue Ice. I use these two colors a lot to highlight, and they just make the most gorgeous highlight. And they're not, you know, a lot of people think, well, you know, they're too much of a highlight. You know what? Shear them out, and they're really not. I know that Kat Von D made an Alchemist palette, and I have swatched that in the store, and it has these colors almost identical in it. So if you have that palette, it's pretty much the same. I personally just really do love this palette myself. I think that it's just one of those really beautiful palettes that people could really use in their lives. Now, number 8 on the countdown is the Carly Bible palette from BH Cosmetics. And this might come as a bit of a surprise to most of you because, as you know, this has only been out for a few months now. But this palette is just, I love it. I know that, you know, she really could have just stuck with her highlighters and put some matte blushes or some matte bronzers right there. But aside from that, these colors that are all of the colors that are the eyeshadows are just so nice to work with. And they are really, really good mattes, and the shimmers are so buttery and creamy. And I have just been just loving. I mean, really loving using this palette. I'm gonna try and get you some swatches of between the mattes and the shimmers. So there they are right there. I really am loving this palette. It has this beautiful mix of cool tones, but warm on some parts. And so I really am glad that I purchased this palette. I think it's one that is worth the money. I think that, you know, I believe it's like $22.99 or something like that for the palette. And you're getting a lot of product here, but you're also getting some really pretty good quality here. And I use this quite a bit and I really am loving it. So it's one of those ones that if you've been on the fence about and you don't really know, ho-hum, you know, I like it. I like it a lot. It's one that I actually put in my monthly favorites and I really do like it. Now number 7 is my Makeup Revolution HD Pro Contour Palette, and this one is in light medium. As you can see, I have hit pan on one of them and I'm working on the others. I really do like this palette. I think that it is very comparable to the Kat Von D Contour Palette, which is just an absolutely wonderful palette, but this one is a fraction of the cost, and I cannot stress to you enough how nice these powders are. I use this way more than I use the Kat Von D one, more than anything just because I love this color right here more than any of them, and I just think it makes the most beautiful shadow. It is the perfect pairing of the cool tone without being too muddy on your face. So it's just gorgeous. I use it as my contour all the time. Obviously, I'm using it today. It is one of those ones that I would reach for and that I would highly recommend to you guys. It is a very, very good palette. That's number 7. Okay, number 6 is the Tartiste palette. That is their contour palette. I actually got this a really long time ago, but boy, I love this palette. If I'm going somewhere, I can throw this palette in my purse and actually get all of my look out of it. I can get my blush, I can get my highlighter, I can get my contour. If I want to, I can use these shades right here as eyeshadows. Everything that I need if I'm in a big hurry can be in here all at once. I love this smell. It's like Tarte's other palettes. It smells like chocolate or vanilla chocolate smell. It is wonderful, but that's not why I like it so much. I actually have been using this color right in the middle right here as the very first shadow that I used before I put on any of my color shadows. So that is the base that I've been using. Highly pigmented shadows. I love this. Creamy, buttery. I cannot say enough about how wonderful this palette is. It is one of those that I am so glad that Tarte has in their permanent line, and I really hope that they never get rid of. Number 5 is my NYX Cosmic Metals palette. This palette is so much like the Viseart palette that I just showed you, but this palette has more in there, and I think that it is just a no-brainer if you don't have the money to go out and splurge on a Viseart palette to go ahead and grab up this palette from NYX. That is just 4 of their colors in there, and they are intense and they are beautiful. And again, I use these on my lid. I actually use this dark color in my crease all the time, and then on the outer V. These colors are so pretty, and they're soft, they're blendable. They don't make you look like you got a lot of texture. You can use them as a highlighter on your face, on your cheekbones if you want to, but they are just, they're gorgeous, gorgeous colors, and I think they're every bit as beautiful as that Viseart palette was. So yeah, that's number 5. Number 4 is from Juvia's Place. This is the Masquerade Mini, and this palette is my favorite because it has color. I am so tired of seeing palettes that don't show any color, or they just are boring. Everybody is throwing out a warm palette right now, which I know people love, but hello, come on, some of us really like the color there. I have used so many of these to do like a gradient mermaid look on my lid, where you go from the light to the dark and the blue, and it is so pretty. So I'm going to, and when you stick your finger in here, you're like, holy crap, these are so buttery. I can't even begin to tell you how intensely gorgeous they are. So there are some swatches. Oh, I am so bad at swatching, you guys. So there are some swatches for you guys. I really do love this palette. It does have a few mattes in here, not many, but it does have a couple of mattes in here that make it, you know, a palette that you could go to, do a whole entire look. That's the other thing that I don't like about some palettes. You get into them, they have no matte, they have no transition color, and you're going, well, then I gotta reach for another palette. So that is the reason that I'm really in love with it, is not only are the colors just incredible, but it really does give you a variety. I do love this. And Juvia's Place is not that expensive, and they have sales all the time. Get on their mailing list and you will be able to know when they're having their sales. They have them all the time and it's really worth it. These are really, really good quality shadows, and they just are gorgeous. Lasting shadows too. The lasting power on them is wonderful. Okay, my number 3 palette probably won't be any surprise to any of you either. This is the Makeup Revolution Neutrals versus New-Trals palette, and my baby is just loved to death. Now, I do have a video on paint by numbers and using this palette, which I will try to throw up in a card right here. This palette I have loved since it first came out. I think that this palette is so much better than the Too Faced Peach palette, and I know I might get a lot of guff for saying that, but it has so many more peach colors in it, and it just has this richness about it as you are doing a look, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I think this color right here is probably my favorite color, so I'm going to go ahead and swatch that for you. But I'll just swatch these 3 colors that are right in a row right here for you so you can see how pretty they are. They are ones that I really do love this palette. It has the warmness to it, but it also has some coolness to it. Has a big mirror. Makeup Revolution does great packaging. It's, you know, it is plastic, but it is not cheap. I have never had any of these shadows break. I have never had them not be able to blend out and just make an absolutely gorgeous look. So I love this palette. I reach for it all the time. It is something that is just I'm gonna buy backups of it because I want to always have it. So that is one of my very, very favorites. That's number 3. So number 2 on my list, and I bet you thought that I was going to put this as number 1, but it is number 2. This is the Modern Renaissance palette. Modern Renaissance palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. You guys, this palette is so incredible. I have loved this palette since the day that I got it, and I love how buttery it is. I love how many mattes are in here. I love that it goes from the cool tone side again to the warm tone, but you have the richness in here that makes just gorgeous looks. I also did a paint by numbers series with this one already, and I'll throw that up in a card too. And just to show you guys how absolutely gorgeous it is, I'm going to go ahead and swatch 4 of these colors right here so that you can see. I love this palette, you guys. It blends itself practically. It's one of those ones that you go, oh, well, okay, that looks okay. But then you get into it and you're like, well, I don't know, because there's like this bright pink color. But I'm telling you that when I did my tutorial for you guys on the paint by numbers, that bright pink color right there, that fuchsia color, was the main star of the show as I did that look for you guys. So number 2 is the Anastasia Beverly Hills. And by the way, you guys, I don't know if all of you know this or not, but come Tuesday the 25th of July, Anastasia is adding another palette. I think it's called Subculture. I'm not sure. I'll correct myself if it is not that, but I think that's what it's called. So yeah, excited about that palette to come out. I hope that it is in her permanent line, and I hope that everybody can get one because she really does fantastic, beautiful palettes and beautiful eyeshadows. So hopefully it will be in her permanent line. Okay, so my last palette, you guys are gonna go, but Melissa, you know, I can't go out and just purchase that. Now, the reason that I put this in here, this is my own made up palette of single eyeshadows. And the reason that I had to put this in here, you guys, is because this is honestly what I reach for on the daily. These are shadows that I have handpicked myself and have decided that they work perfectly for me. I would highly suggest to you guys that you go ahead and get your own started. ColourPop has their single shadows, their pressed shadows, for $5, which I think is fantastic because their shadows are wonderful. Their pressed shadows are wonderful. So this is full of ColourPop and Makeup Geek and a little bit of Anastasia Beverly Hills, and I can't remember, this is a Buxom one, and then I can't remember where I got these ones. They're duochromes, but I'll try to list those below as well. But yeah, I wanted to show you guys this because I think that giving yourself your own custom palette is really an important thing, because your particular skin tone, your particular likes, your dislikes are not going to be the same as mine. So you go out and yeah, you buy a modern Renaissance palette, and there's something for everyone in here, but when you make up your own palette, you absolutely have everything that you like in there. So yeah, this had to be #1 for me, and I just want to tell you guys that yeah, go ahead and start checking out ColourPop or Makeup Geek. ColourPop is amazing because all the time they're also having like sales where you can get these for $4 too, and the other thing that they do is they do free shipping at $30. So it's really a fantastic company. If you've never checked out ColourPop, go ahead and go check them out. I really love everything that they do. So here are some swatches of what is in my palette. There is Buxom there is ColourPop there, and there is Makeup Geek. So doing it myself and customizing really helped me to be able to find what I wanted to play with and just make beautiful looks out of. So yeah, I really do love having my own custom palette. So that's it, you guys. That is everything for my top 10 favorite palettes. I hope that you guys did enjoy this. Do you guys have a favorite palette that I do not have here that everybody can still get, or maybe one that's been discontinued that you absolutely love and you feel like, oh, I am so glad that I got it? I'd love to hear from you and know about that too. So throw those down in the comment section below. Please give this video a thumbs up before you leave today, and share it on your other social media platforms if you wouldn't mind. I love you guys so very much. I appreciate everything that you do for me, because you guys are all an amazing group of people, and I just want to say how much I love you. So I will see you in my very next video. Bye, you guys.